Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Tier 2 of the Splatoon Iceberg. If you haven't seen Tier 1, what are you doing here? Go watch Tier 1, where I covered some basic knowledge of the series and stuff. Coincidentally, just after I recorded, I saw that the Splatoon Raiders release date came out, and I'm like, wow. What a coincidence. That wasn't actually to trend hop. I actually do enjoy Splatoon. If you haven't, go see my Splatoon video on my channel. Both of my Splatoon videos. Anyway, so today we're going to do Tier 2 of the Splatoon Iceberg, which covers more obscure topics and stuff. And since I actually have played more Splatoon 3 recently, I have brushed up my Splatoon 3 knowledge. So I think I'm ready to go. So let's do this. Captain Cuttlefish phone wallpaper. So yeah, in the Octo expansion, if you actually looked up Captain Cuttlefish's phone wallpaper on his flip phone, why are you so old? Go get a Samsung or something. Anyway, if you actually look at it, the background is Callie Marie in their first ever concert, or the folk youth contest when they're like kids back in the day. And honestly, I think that's kind of sweet. I think they're like, Captain Cuttlefish is their uncle, I think, or their grandparents or something like that in relations. But it's just, you know, sweet background and stuff. Yeah, this is the actual picture without the filter and stuff. And yeah, there is some backstory with this, but I have a feeling that it's gonna appear later on down the iceberg. Speciesism and racism allegories. So I talked a lot about this in Tier 1, but yeah, in Splatoon 1, mainly, this is what's really talking about. Inklings and Octarians go against each other and stuff. Though this doesn't really apply in Splatoon 2 and 3 because Octolings and Inklings and Octolins live with each other. Especially since one of the idols, actually two of the idols are now Octolings and stuff. So yeah, this mainly applies to Splatoon 1. Where Inklings and Octolings literally fight to the death for like land and stuff. Unused gear. Now, Splatoon actually has a long history of unused stuff. Mainly lots, and I mean lots of weapons. Though I'm actually going to talk about two iconic gear pieces. One is actually the feather headdress, or this thing. That was actually scrapped because apparently it's offensive to Native Americans. And as someone who actually is Native American... Wait, we're offended? And next is this hat from Splatoon 2. It was actually supposed to be unlocked in the Octo expansion, and it does look creepy, which is probably why it's scrapped. But honestly, out of this, of all the things we talked about in Splatoon, I think this is one of the less creepy things. Plus, kid games used to be scary. Like, remember Majora's Mask? Put in, you cowards! Octoling asymmetry. I don't know what this could be referring to. Maybe it's because of the hairstyles, because Inklings are very symmetrical, while the Octoling haircuts are just not. I think that's what it's talking about, but I'm not really sure what this could be about, if I'm being honest. Even after some research, I couldn't really find anything. Ducks in Snapper Canal. Oh, okay. So if you actually do go to Snapper Canal in one of the Splatoon games, you actually can see the ducks just chilling in there. In fact, there are some animals that do chill out in other maps. But it's just kind of weird that, you know, in this world full of Inklings and stuff, somehow ducks have survived human extinction. I guess ducks are the better creatures, so if you see a duck, befriend it or something. Because apparently they know something that we don't. Like how to survive fucking war. The Great Zapfish and Piranha Pit Easter egg. I talked about this in Tier 1, but basically around the minute mark in Piranha Pit, you can actually see the Zapfish appear. Though you need a sniper because it will zoom in and stuff. But yeah, it's there. We already talked about this already, so let's move on. Splatoon 1 playable Octolings were planned from the start. This is mainly a theory because they already have models already in Splatoon 1. And in Splatoon 1, you can actually hack your game where you can actually play as the Octolings. So people think that you're able to play as Octolings from the start, but probably not. And if it was true, it was scrapped until Splatoon 2, where you don't actually get the haircut, you just get, you know, what it is. But yeah, when the Octo expansion came out, it was actually really epic. Squid Girl's gear set. So Squid Girl was an anime from Japan, no shit. But apparently this was actually like a collab that Nintendo and Squid Girl did, where you could play as the Squid Girl costumes and stuff. Though I think it was only available from Splatoon 1, and you gotta like do a few things, you know. With some gear in Splatoon, you kind of have like to jump through hoops. But like I said in Tier 1, they should have had like a place where you can buy all clothing and stuff. And if you want to, like, you know, if you want gear to feel achievable, like, I don't know, lock it under levels to show you that you're good at the game and not that you won at the stupid chocolate factory thing with the golden tickets. Like, come on. Release the gear, cowards. Ink vanishes after battles. So, it's a weird theory about, well, it's not under theory, it's under general knowledge in the Iceberg. But someone actually did make a theory that back in Splatoon 1, people were questioning on how the ink would vanish after battles. And people would say that they had a theory that they had Octoling slaves that would wash the ink after battles. And honestly, I'm actually going to go with that theory. I know slavery is bad, but honestly, that kind of makes sense. I only say it's Splatoon 1 because Marina would not let that shit slide. Because she would kick your ass for it. And be called a racist. Because slavery is bad. And Octoling slavery, get this, is bad. Pearl seems like the type to allow this though. Octavio's humanoid form. So, we already know that Octavio is stuck in his octopus form. But we haven't really seen a human form. I think there were glimpses about it in the Sunken Scrolls, but I'm not really sure. The thing that's creepy is that, what would he look like? Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't want to sound messed up. I have a feeling he might look similar to Hitler, or Stalin, or Trump, or any horrible leader, if I'm being honest. I don't know, it's a gut feeling, you know. I mean, it's not the worst thing. I mean, I predicted that Mr. Gribbs was this cute, wholesome man, but you know what I mean. But I feel like he would look like any of the military. Honestly, if anyone, I'm pretty sure he would probably look like Kim Jong-un. All mammals are extinct except for Judd and Mr. Grizz. So far, that's kind of true. Mr. Grizz's plan in Splatoon 3 in the story mode was that he was going to turn every Inkling into a mammal sort of creature and stuff to bring back mammals. Which, we actually followed their plans and stuff. But, yeah, that was actually kind of true. It was the plan from the start. And, yeah, there are literally no mammals in Splatoon anymore, which, yeah, humans went extinct, and bears went extinct, and everything else went extinct. So, yeah, that makes sense, right? Blooper stickers. I couldn't really, like, find anything about this. Apparently, on Urchin Underpass or Flounder Heights, apparently there's a blooper sticker around here or something. I don't know. Honestly, I just want it to be 10 so I can eat my Stamboli that I got yesterday from Mike's Pizza. Fun fact, I actually did meet the owner. If you ever heard of Mike's Pizza, it's a local chain restaurant. He serves Italian food, mainly pizza, but I love that guy. The guy is a sweet old man. I am starstruck. Yesterday I met a celebrity. Also, I've been getting into basketball. Anyway, let's get into more icebergs, yeah? Lobby takeovers. So remember when I talked about squid parties? Well, lobby takeovers is like that, but for devious reasons and not troll reasons. I mean, trolls are kind of devious by themselves, so I'll give you that. But mainly this is just for evil purposes and just to run the game for fun. Squid parties, I would like to apologize for you guys, but for you guys that actually took over lobbies, go fuck yourselves. Only for evil reasons. If you're doing it just to fight with someone, then I understand. I'm probably going to take over my boyfriend's lobby next time we start the stream. But, yeah. I'm going to kick his ass. Splatoon 1 and 2 tracks found in Splatoon 3's lobby. That's actually true. There is a jukebox where you battle and stuff, which honestly, the lobby in Splatoon 3 is my favorite. And you can actually play sounds from Splatoon 1 and 2. Actually, I've tested that out after my video on my channel that you should watch. I'm goggling myself up, but times are desperate for me, alright? Anyway, but yeah, that's You can actually listen to music from the games. Yep. Honestly, I think they should also put Splatoon 1 and 2 battle music in Splatoon 3, you know. I mean, the game's already big enough. You could put some audio tracks on it. Like, come on, you cowards. Nintendo Switch Online app, Splatnet 2 and 3. So, with Nintendo Switch Online, they offered in the app where you can actually go to Splatnet 2 and 3 for both of those Splatoon games. Mainly, you could just look up your battle records and maps there and stuff. You can also order gear from there, which I've abused that feature back in 2019. It was awesome. Yeah, it was just a perk of Nintendo Switch Online. I kind of hate Nintendo Switch Online because back when Splatoon 2 released, the game, like, online was free. And then 2018 or 19 is when online was payable. And, fuck you, Nintendo, for that. But at least we got these freaking apps and stuff. I mean, they're not the best things, but it's better than nothing. Secret Underground Highway in Splatsville. I think this was before Side Order this Iceberg was made. I'll probably make a Side Order Iceberg after I probably play the game on my channel. Anyway, there is an underground map in Splatoon 3. And I think this is just a way where Shiver, Fry, and Big Man, you know, travel to Alterna without being seen and stuff. Oh yeah, Shiver, Fry, and Big Man are thieves in Splatoon 3. And yeah, that's really it. If we're being honest, there's just a secret underground highway in under Splatsville, whatever. That SBR2 dude scheming in the lobby. So there's this guy that's a YouTuber that is actually named Player, and people have been seeing him over Splatsville, I believe, or Inkopolis, where his character is like scheming for some reason, and he became a huge meme. In fact, there's a video where a lot of people reported him scheming around throughout the city and stuff, which is actually kind of funny, and was a big meme when Splatoon 3 released. I think it was any of the Splatoon games, but his character was scheming. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Diamond is Unbreakable reference in Splatoon. Are we freaking serious? Why JoJo? It's not like my boyfriend's obsessed with it enough, but really, JoJo and Splatoon? Are we freaking serious? Anyway, one of the sunken scrolls, all the inklings were made in this JoJo style. Didn't know there was a huge connection between Splatoon and JoJo. Wow. I should probably watch it. Maybe. I'll probably watch it after recording then. Push Jellyfish / Small Fry. I don't know about the Push Jellyfish part, but Small Fry. Small Fry was actually a creature you used in the Splatoon 3 story mode. He also does show up sometimes here and there in the city. In fact, he can also show up in the title screen. From, I think you saw from my video. Let me just check. I actually have my video pulled up right here. Hold on. Let me just see. Yeah, he's chilling in the thing. I'm watching my video right now. Oh, there's a comment. The sign doesn't lie. What the hell does that mean? Anyway, a Small Fry does show up sometimes in the post game, but he's mainly there as a tool in the story mode to remove all the mammal stuff because he's hungry for fur or something. But yeah, that's his purpose. Small Fry in the city and its different locations. I just talked about this. But yeah, sometimes he shows up. Sometimes he shows up on the title screen, like in my video. And yeah, that's really it. Non-returning stages. In Splatoon 2, there was a lot of stages that were cut. And in Splatoon 3, there were also Splatoon 2 cages. And even still stages from Splatoon 1 that haven't even made an appearance. Even after their appearance in Splatoon 1. One iconic example is Urchin Underpass. What the hell? That didn't show up in Splatoon 2 or 3. However, it did show up in the battle mode for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is kind of weird. And, you know, apparently Urchin Underpass was a very popular stage back then. It was actually so iconic that even the Splatoon, people who haven't heard of Splatoon, such as me back then, knew about this stage. So it's kind of odd that this stage just wasn't here at all. It's just odd. But, yeah, it sucks. Sea mammals are also extinct. That is actually true. There's no, like, word for dolphins or manatees or sharks. Or at least any animals that, you know, don't lay eggs that are also sea creatures. Like, we don't see any dolphins or manatees anywhere. It's just kind of weird. This goes for the mammals that we've already previously talked about, but this is the sea creatures, and yeah, it's just kind of weird. Like, no dolphins? Come on, I love dolphins. Laughing statues in Museum del Alflicino. I think that's how you say the stage name. But yeah, in Splatoon 1, at night, you can actually hear those statues laughing. However, you can't really access the museum at night because Splatfests don't exist in Splatoon 1. However, we already established that with the Callie and Marie amiibo, you can actually still play stages at night whether there's a Splatfest or not. Anyway, yeah. It doesn't work in the day, you have to actually be at night. So if you load in a battle of only one person, if you actually do hear the statues, like, and pay very close attention, you can actually do hear them laughing. There's also another Easter egg where a telephone also happens, and you can hear, like, chatter and stuff. We don't know what they're saying because the Inkling language is, kind of hard to understand, but once again, it's like mumbled Japanese and English. So, yeah, the Easter egg is very creepy, but very interesting in a way. Then again, Splatoon is full of all creepy Easter eggs. It's not even a happy game. It's all fucking depressing and cannibalism. Speaking of cannibalism, I have ate a calamari on Sunday, and I saw what they look like without the crust, and I ate a whole fucking squid. The tentacles freaking creep me out. I have a new fear now. It's tentacles. Tartar's mass genocide. Tartar already has a body count of millions of octolings. Well, more like thousands. But the reason is because in the Octo expansion, you're like a player number that's like in the thousands and stuff. Which means a lot of octolings have tried and failed this challenge before. Whether they're dying from natural causes or getting blended up on the blender. It's kind of fucking disturbing. In fact, people have compared this guy to Hitler. In fact, there are theories where people think he is a reincarnation of Hitler. Now, Hitler has done some really fucked up stuff, so let's not glorify it. But, yeah, this guy is just Splatoon Hitler. Splatoon meta. With new weapons coming into Splatoon, the Splatoon meta has been constantly changing and stuff. Which actually does make sense. New weapons happened, it went crazy. Like in Splatoon 2 when the Bubble Orber existed. Fuck that weapon. I always get killed by that and stuff. For me, it's using dualies and dodge rolling when I'm about to die. And then getting them. Cause funny. But yeah, there's always a Splatoon meta, of course, with all the weapons and stuff. Not gonna get into it. I'm not really a competitive player. I just like inking for fun. Just don't watch my last video. Splatted by propeller ink. So in stages you can actually use the propeller, but apparently you can actually get killed by the ink splatted from the propeller, which is actually kind of insane. And also very unfortunate, because imagine you're just going on your way and then you get killed by someone who wasn't even trying to kill you. That would suck. White ink, red ink, and black ink. So, these colors don't show up with normal Splatoon gameplay, just sometimes on Splatfests. But the reason, I guess they're just not here defaultly, because white ink looks like semen, and this is a kid's game, even though lore says otherwise. Black ink, because, I don't know, blackface or something, I think that's the reason. And then red ink is probably not here because it looks like blood and stuff. The only reason this ink is allowed in Splatfest is to color coordinate I guess, what are the topics in the Splatfest, but that's really it. Splatfests are Inkling religion. With how much it celebrates, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Inkling religion, because keep in mind, humanity extinct, which probably means like Christianity, Muslim, Buddhism, and Islam, and all those religions would probably be gone by now, and they probably made other religions by now. So I wouldn't be surprised if Splatfests was like something Inklings partake because of religion and stuff. But that's just my guess on that. Splat Tim. Splat Tim was a meme from Splatoon 1 that featured this weird warped up image of the Inkling boy in the dog shirt from the Cat vs. Dog Splatfest. I'm Team Cat, by the way. And honestly, it's been a while since I saw him. He reminded me of way better days in life. But yeah, I love Splatoon. He reminds me of a time where things weren't so horrible and hopeless. Chinese mobile rip-offs. Yeah, of course there's going to be rip-offs of it, which people have tried doing it with like Color Scoot and Foam Stars. But of course there are Chinese mobile rip-offs that you can get on the App Store or Google Play. And yeah, of course, you know who needs Beat Original when you can just rip off and get millions, am I right? Or use AI. Off the hook wave changes when you're octoling. Remember when I talked about the idols waves in tier 1, which you obviously haven't seen yet, so please go back to tier 1. Anyway, if you're octoling, the off the hook would wave at you differently in Splatoon 2. Which is kind of cool, but I don't know, man. Seems kind of racist to me. Sanitized ink is from the remains of octolings. Honestly, that could be true if we're being honest. I mean, if you actually look at the octolings and spot them, it does look like, sort of like a blood-like fluid. And honestly, I could kind of believe that because, remember, Tartar has blended up thousands of octolings. So, yeah, this could be true, and that makes Octo expansion even darker than it is. Like, what was Nintendo on while making this story mode? Because this was too good. It was too good of a story mode. I don't think they could top that. Squid Sisters reverse songs are Octo Canyon songs. This is true, I believe, for Splatoon 1, yeah, but for Splatoon 2, this actually makes too much sense. You see, since Cali has been captured, they've been making songs based on the Squid Sisters, mainly sampling the songs, which is actually true. A lot of Octo Canyon songs are actually samples from actual Squid Sisters songs, which is pretty cool. And it's pretty cool the Octolings are fucking thieves by sampling other songs. Like, please don't be an Ava Max, Octolings. You're better than this. You made the Octo expansion. That soundtrack fucking rocks. Cali was not in the Octo Canyon until an update. That is actually true. Before the Octo expansion, Cali was never in Octo Canyon. However, after the Octo expansion, you can actually visit Cali in Octo Canyon after you save her. You can also splat her, because if you try to splat Marie, she uses her umbrella to block herself. But she actually does. You can actually splat her. Like I said, I think these idols are false gold, are false and are probably like shit at Splatoon, because I'm just letting you splat you and you're not going to defend yourself. I expect you to jump out, leave, and kill me on the spot, but I guess not. Wow, maybe idols are frauds. Just saying, never seen them in action. DJ Sango. DJ Sango is actually Agent 3's rap name, and also had a giant rap battle with Marina, or one of the Squid idols, that lasted like a couple hours and stuff. So she has bars, but how do we know? Because she doesn't talk. So I don't know, man. It seems kind of sketchy to me. At least prove that you're a good DJ, or at least as good as Eminem. Rap God, Mr. Abracadabra, Houdini, Gen Z bro. Okay, that's just disrespectful. Look. I know modern audiences don't like Eminem, but he's my goat because, he's from Detroit. I'm from Michigan. I have a special bond with him. Let the Summonoids take Wahoo World. So, the reason this is on Iceberg, because apparently there was a special event in Salmon Run where the Summonoids take over Wahoo World and you defeat them. And that's really it. I don't really play Salmon Run, so my Salmon Run knowledge is close to non-existent. Like, I played it before, like a lot in Splatoon 2, but after a while, I don't know. I'm not really a very big fan of group, horde attacks in shooter games. Like, in Call of Duty, I wasn't really interested in zombies, so here it's like zombies but Splatoon. I don't really like horde battles, if I'm being honest. How did Small Fry and Agent 3 met? So this is talking about the new Agent 3 and not the current one who's now Captain. Basically what happened is that they met a long time ago when they were poor and stuff. That's right, Splatoon 3 is kind of homeless. And yeah, they've been friends for a while and stuff. And then they became the Screedbeak Splatoon and stuff. And yeah, that's really it. So yeah, they met when they were homeless and poor and stuff. So, rags to witches kind of stuff. 1 out of 100k Summanoids are Goldies. That is, I think, true because apparently golden Summonids are like a big deal and stuff. So, and they're very rare, so that, I guess that kind of makes sense. I don't know, once again, I'm not really a huge Summon player. Chapter 0. So for the next few entries, we're going to talk about the Splatoon manga, which I don't own any of. The only manga I own is My Hero Academia Volumes 1 and 2. If you don't know my stickers, well, my stickers of my computer is all My Hero Academia stickers and a sticker from Ice Cream Place and Star-Lord. And for Joe Biden for some reason, I don't know why he's on there, but he's there. Anyway, the good news is I have the internet. Splatoon 0 of the Splatoon manga is basically just establishing the plot and the characters like Blue and stuff, and Team Blue and them going into a turf war, really. It just shows you the war of Splatoon, and then they end up in Octo Canyon, because, you know, of the Splatoon. It's basically like just a retelling of a certain Inkling's experience with Splatoon, basically. It's like just a narrative and stuff. I also heard I actually saw that the manga's kind of freaky. They do censor the stuff, but it's still freaking freaky. Specs hates contacts. Specs is a character from the manga, and apparently the reason he hates them because without them, like if he without his glasses, he actually looks very horrifying and intimidating and stuff. But honestly, I kind of would agree with him because I wear glasses myself, and honestly, putting like glass on my eyes is just, yeah, and then you have to take them out like before you go to bed and put them on. It's just after going to bed, it's just I don't like them. All right, I just so freaking like them. Characters are older in the third manga. So the third manga is obviously based on Splatoon 3, and the existential thing about Splatoon 3 is that in Splatoon 1, all the characters look young and like childlike. In Splatoon 2, they look like preteens and taller, and in Splatoon 3, they actually look like teens. So it does make sense. I think we go more deeper into it later on down the Iceberg. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how these characters just look older and stuff, and like these kids went from like child to like freaking teenagers. It's kind of crazy. So does that mean the fourth one we get like older teenagers, like 16-year-olds to 18-year-olds? Because that would be kind of crazy. And then the fifth one would be adults or something like that. Oh, the character from Splatoon Raiders looks like an older teen, if we're being honest. Splatfest law. This is actually a fake sort of law where apparently the opinionated, objective topic wins and stuff, which is kind of bullshit. Like, it's just a fake law, but it's still a weird law to have. Like, what do you mean dogs are better than cats? All they do is shit on your floor and stuff. At least cats have a litter box. You see, cats are better because they don't require too much effort. They're also more snuggly and stuff. So cats are better than dogs for that reason. So I think cats should have won. Isn't it kind of scary that we're basically fighting over dinosaurs at that point? Rematch Splatfests. Okay, so there are some times where Splatfests would basically rematch. Like, I remember Ketchup and Mayo being a rematch, and Chicken and the Egg also being a rematch and stuff like that. And that's really it, if we're being honest. Some Splatfests rematch, and that's cool. Color lock affects menus. So apparently the color of your Inkling affects the colors of the menus. That's a cool detail, but why is it so low on the iceberg? I feel like it's just an Easter egg from the top of the iceberg, if we're being honest. English translations. So it's hard to translate the Inkling language, but there's actually apparently a few times where Inklings would say something and it would sound English. Mainly it affects with music and stuff. For example, in Octo Fly, people thought they were saying saving the world, and in Nasty Majesty they say nasty crushy, because that makes sense. Or with Calamari Incantation, it sounds like they're saying you want to hear a song and stuff like that. So honestly, this actually would make a lot of sense. Like I said, Splatoon language, or Inklinese, is basically just marbled Japanese and English. I mean, they're not like actually saying it, but it could be interpreted that way, and it makes sense in the context of the song. Global matchmaking. I mean, it really just depends on where you are. Sometimes you get looped up with dumb Americans, and sometimes you get looped up by Japanese people. That will completely destroy you. Like, how are Japanese so good at video games? Can someone explain that to me? Splatfest dialogue in the story mode. Sometimes they would say stuff in the story mode that they would say in Splatoon. Like, I don't know, it's just there and stuff. I couldn't really find any evidence of this, but I'm going to take their word on it if I'm being honest. If anyone can come and correct me, that would be nice. Though I doubt anyone would, because I don't really have much connections if I'm being honest. Except Mike from my local pizza joint. He has a business. I don't. Victory screens. Yeah, if you win, all your teammates will do a dance. Sometimes you can get original ones, like mine is this sarcastic salute, which you only saw once because my team sucked in Splatoon in my Splatoon video. Man, just seeing those fucking cocky bastards just dance on my screen is just, it's so funny, isn't it? Shifty Station revisions. I don't know what this could be talking about, but mainly in Shifty Station there are many variants that Marina has built from all the Splatfests and stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of Shifty Station revisions that you can play on in private matches now. So all these stages are not entirely lost. Alternative intro themes. In Splatoon 2, in Splatoon 2 and 3, when you can hear like the intro music, which sounds different. However, if you're playing near Halloween, it will have a spooky version, and if you're playing it in Frosty Fest, it will sound different. There's also Easter Fest or something like that, or Spring Fest, I think it's called, where it also sounds different, I believe. But my favorite has to be the chill remix of the Frosty Fest. I don't know, it's just something about it just makes it feel more grander. Fire Pearl. Usually, Marina likes to, make a comeback every time Pearl says something arrogant. And there was one time where, Marina's like, you know what? Fire this bitch. I don't care if I'm in love with her or anything, which, guys, Pearl and Marina are definitely lesbians. Don't let anyone fool you. Edric and Marina from the Owl House are inspired by Off the Hook. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I haven't even seen the Owl House. That's cool, but, you know, Knights of Guinevere, though. Yeah. Octo Valley World 4 Skip. In the original Splatoon, apparently there's like a huge speedrunning community when it comes to the story mode. You can actually skip Octo Valley 4 by doing like this pixel perfect jump where you're like ink near the barrier and then slide out from the barrier and stuff, and then yeah, skip it from there. But you have to be like very pixel perfect. You have to be very perfect on those pixels. And then you can get that. This was from a very old video, but I mean it's cool. It's cool. I don't really have Splatoon 1. We use like the least console that I want to get, but if I do, I'll probably get Splatoon 1 and play the hero mode in like, I don't know, 2020 or something. Deep Cut are secretly rich, and they also help the poor. These are two entries on the Iceberg, but I decided to combine them because they do sound similar. But yeah, Deep Cut, Fry Shiver, and Big Man are apparently secretly rich, which I hope they are. Remember, these are the idols of Splatoon 3 and are also news reporters. News reporters sort of make a pretty that's not even livable. But they make a pretty solid salary here in the US. Not enough to live on your own. Heck, none of these jobs, you can't really live on your own unless you have a second partner with you. Basically, yeah, that's really it. But apparently they're bandits and stuff. They also help the poor and stuff, so they're like, I don't know. They're like the Splatoon version of Robin Hood. So that's cool, I guess. Little Buddy loves you and is super intelligent. This is kind of true. I remember in the finale he turns into like this giant samurai that could be remembering things, but yeah, he's there in action and stuff. But yeah, he's pretty intelligent, and of course he loves you. He's been there since childhood and stuff. But yeah, that is it for Splatoon, the Splatoon Iceberg Tier 2. After glancing up on Tier 3, I think that's going to be my favorite tier so far. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Honestly, this is my first Iceberg on the channel. I know I used to do the YouTube Iceberg, conspiracy theory Iceberg. The reason I deleted those is because I wanted to do like focus on a few things at once, and everything was all jumbled here. But I feel like I have a more organized schedule where I release a gaming video daily and then do these videos on the side. I do 3 things all at once and stuff. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later. Stay cinematic. Before this video ends, I actually do get help from a friend named Fish Skull, and he will be basically helping me with corrections here. So for the octoling asymmetry, it's basically how the octopus works and why octolines have circled ears instead of pointy ears like squids. And for the blooper Easter egg, it's because apparently there's a sticker that looks like a blooper from Super Mario. In fact, he was generous to show me a screenshot from his Switch. So, yeah, thank you Fishy Skull for all that, and see you in Tier 3.